Just because you feel a pain and tightness deep in your glute doesn't mean that your piriformis muscle, your glutes, are truly tight. This is probably why doing figure 4 stretches, pigeon poses, and nerve glides hurt so good in the moment, but the pain and tightness always comes back. My name is Dr. Charlie Johnson, physical therapist, and after reviewing over 10,000 back, butt, and sciatic pain cases, I've learned that most feelings of tightness are actually your brain and your body craving strength and stability, not length or flexibility. And so in this video, I'm gonna replace your random sheet of stretches with just one strengthening exercise that should take roughly 3 minutes per day. I'm also gonna take this a step further and show you 4 movement-based clues that suggest this exercise is going to be right for you. And then I'm going to show you the ultimate self-movement test that will prove to you that this exercise is not only safe, but immediately effective and will help you relieve your pain. So now we're gonna dive right into the exercise. I'm gonna show you what it is and how to perform it. Just be sure to stick around because we're gonna talk about the clues and the signs and the tests you need to perform to make sure it's right for you. Doing an exercise without understanding why you're doing it or if it's right for you could make you worse. So the exercise we're gonna perform is called a side lying straight leg raise. You're gonna lie with your painful side up. So this would be my painful side in this example. And the setup is pretty important. I'm gonna show you one tweak to maximize the effectiveness of it. And I'll show you a modification to make this easier and also show you something you can do to make it even harder if this is too easy. As for the setup, everything should be in a straight line. So it helps to lay in front of a wall or something like that so you have some feedback. Your heel, your hip, and your shoulder should all be in alignment. It should not be forward. It shouldn't be super far back. And then what you're going to do is you're going to put your hand on your hip like this, and you're going to rotate your leg up just a tad. All right, now I can't rotate my leg that far up because I don't have that much motion there, but the idea is stay rolled over, hand on hip, rotate the leg up, and then you're going to raise it until you notice that this wants to start to crunch. All right, so you don't want to be all the way down here, but if you go up too far, you'll see I start to side bend. So that's the intent of this hand right here, is just to help you notice when you get to that point. Slightly rotate it out, and you're going to hold. You're going to perform 3 holds with the goal of getting up to or working up to 30 seconds each. 3 times 30 seconds is a minute and a half. You can take a break, and then you can do another 3 times 30-second holds later in the day. 3 total minutes for the strengthening routine. You'll feel a burn in the outer part of your hip, and by rotating it just slightly, you engage some of the deep hip or glute rotator muscles. So this is the exercise. Now, if that was too easy, just take a band. A loop band works really well, or any exercise band. Put it just above the level of the knees and set up again. So the bottom knee is bent, the top leg is straight, the little tweak where you rotate it up. Hand here to make sure you're not side bending, lift it up and hold. And this will add resistance and obviously make it more challenging. So one fatal flaw is opening up the hips. So as it gets harder, people will roll backwards and they'll be working the front of the hips. We want to make sure that people are slightly rolled forward with the leg rotated outwards. Now, if this position without the band was too hard, in other words, you could not hold it for the 3 30-second holds, then you simply bend the knee and rotate the leg slightly. And you would hold it in this position. Again, 3 30-second holds is the goal. When that gets too easy and you can hold it for longer than 30 seconds, you can progress to this. When that gets too easy, you can start to add the band. So now you know what the exercise is and how to perform it, and what to do if it's too easy versus what to do if it's too hard. Understand the reason this exercise works well for so many people is because most people are given stretches that aim to lengthen the tissue in the buttock. And they do it again because it feels tight, but it may be a perceived tightness. So what's the opposite of lengthening something which isn't helping you? Well, the opposite of not helping you is helping you, and the opposite of lengthening would be shortening, bringing 2 points closer together. And if you perform this exercise, you see how it's actually shortening the muscles on the outside of the hip, not lengthening or pulling them further apart. So that's just kind of a basic concept I want you to maybe understand. You're just doing the opposite of that which hasn't worked. Now we need to help you understand with some different clues and some simple self-movement tests if this is going to be something that's going to help you out and if it's going to be safe and not make you worse. So I promised that I would share with you 4 movement-based clues to help you identify if this is something that might be effective for you. And the first one is a simple self-movement test. So you want to take your pain-free side and you want to see how flexible this side is. In other words, how far does the knee drop towards the table? And then you're going to go ahead and take the painful side, and my example is my right side, and you're going to see how close that knee flops towards the floor or towards the table. And almost always what you'll notice is that they're pretty much the same. So you can see there's a distance here and there's a distance here. And at the end of the day, if they're the same and or your painful side drops further or closer towards the floor, then what does that tell you? You might feel tight, but it's not objectively or visibly tight. It's not actually tight. So you've been stretching this whole time something that isn't truly tight. Movement clues 2 through 4 are based off of something I call tweaks, which are basically little modifications or changes to the way that you're doing activities. These activities are usually painful, but then when you tweak or modify how you do them, they become less painful, which tells us your body prefers a certain type of movement within the body. Once we find a tweak that's helpful, we can then ask ourselves, well, how can we turn this tweak into an exercise which we can take as medicine? The exercise potentially that I showed you a moment ago. So the first tweak I want you to perform while walking. Oftentimes people with Piriformis Syndrome, deep gluteal syndrome, sciatic, or just a pain in the butt have problems walking, climbing stairs, and squatting when they're stressing out the muscles of that area. So if you have pain doing one of those things, then go ahead and try this simple tweak out. So what I want you to do first, let's say walking's a problem. Go ahead and walk as you normally would and just get a sense for how that feels. Then what I'm going to have you do is I'm going to ask you rotate out the painful leg. And if rotating the painful leg out feels significantly better and reduces your butt pain, leg pain, numbness, and tingling, then, well, rotating the leg out kind of looks like that exercise. And so that tells us that if rotating the leg out seems to help you, well, something about your hip likes to be in the outward rotated position. Something about the tissue or the muscles in the glute area like to be shortened or brought closer together. And so why not go ahead and turn that into an exercise? If climbing the stairs is painful, go ahead and take that painful leg, go up just like you normally would. Get a sense for how yucky that feels in your butt or in your leg. Now go ahead and rotate the leg out as you do it. And see if that feels better, same, or worse. If it clearly feels better, then it tells us again your leg prefers that position, and that's something we might be able to turn into the exercise like we showed you. Now let's just say squatting is painful. Go ahead and perform 1 to 2 reps of a squat. See when you experience the pain in your butt or down your leg and get an idea for how painful it is. If it is painful, then go ahead and just rotate out the painful leg. I call this a surfer squat, like this. And go ahead and perform 1 to 2 more squats and get an idea if it's same, better, or worse. If it's better, it tells you that that motion may be valuable for you. So those are the 4 movement-based clues which suggest that the exercise may be helpful. But I don't want to just suggest it's going to be helpful for you. I want you to know immediately right now that it's safe and going to be effective at relieving your pain. So how do we know? I want you to perform this test, treat, retest process so that you know today. What you want to do is you want to find a yucky motion. A yucky motion is anything that reproduces your butt pain, leg pain, numbness, or tingling. This is one of the most common motions that does that. Figure 4 stretch test, we'll call it. By the way, if this is what you're doing to try to treat it, well, then that's why you're watching this video, because you'd just be performing yucky over and over again. So find a yucky motion. It may be this position, it may be climbing the stairs, it may be walking, it may be squatting, it may be jumping. I don't care what it is. Find something that is clear, consistent, and reproduces the symptoms that you experience, and take a snapshot of it, meaning do 1 rep or expose yourself to it. Then what I want you to do is I want you to go ahead and I want you to do the exercise I recommended. Now, the exercise that I recommended must be pain-free. If it is not pain-free and it's increasing your symptoms, then if you want to feel well, what are the chances that you're going to do something that makes you feel unwell over and over again so that you can feel better? Probably not very high. So when I say that an exercise must be safe, that's different than immediately effective. Safe means that when you do it, it doesn't hurt. You will feel a burn, you will feel your leg getting tired, but it should not increase butt pain, leg pain, numbness, and tingling. So if it's painful, it's off limits. We need to test for other motions. Now let's just say that it's pain-free. You perform 3 30-second holds, and how do you know if it's immediately effective? Well, if a motion doesn't improve your yucky motion, if that exercise does not improve your yucky motion, either the figure 4, squatting, jumping, walking, climbing stairs immediately after it's performed, then I have no evidence to suggest that it's an exercise that's going to help you out. Because if something doesn't work in the moment, then I can't just believe that it's going to help sometime in the future. That's called hoping and praying. So you should go to test a yucky activity or motion. Maybe it's the figure 4 or something else. You do the exercise, it should be pain-free, and then immediately afterwards you get up and you retest that yucky thing to see if it's same, better, or worse. If it's same, well then doing it over and over again is probably not going to be something that's going to help you out. If it's worse and or that exercise is painful, we don't want to do it. And if it's immediately something that makes you feel better, then we can do the 3 30-second holds up to twice a day. So we take the movement that's safe and immediately effective, and we prescribe it to you as medicine. How much? 3 30-second holds. How often, or what's the frequency? Twice a day. And when do you do it? What is the timing of when you take this movement as medicine? I would recommend that you do this movement before you're going to perform an activity which is yucky. So let's just say your morning walk is painful. Go ahead and take that movement pill before you go for a walk. Let's just say that you're going to have to do some squatting or lifting throughout the day. Go ahead and perform it before then, so on and so forth. So hopefully that is helpful. These are the movement-based clues. This is the one strengthening exercise which could replace all of your random stretches. And instead of lengthening the tissue in your butt or your hip, why not try shortening it to get the opposite results? And finally, there's a test, treat, retest process so you know it's safe and immediately effective. So leave me a comment below. Let me know what happened when you performed this exercise. And also, if you're interested in learning other natural ways to heal back, butt, and sciatica problems, be sure to check out my other videos on this topic. Thanks.